And then I stabbed that motherfucker.
Well, it sounds like he had it coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Had it coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi, all.
More LA Night. As you heard in the intro music that I'm going to include in this one. I put it in last week's too. It's a fun remix I found on TikTok when I was high. And I laughed way too hard at it.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the Spotify version yet. I watched the YouTube. So
yeah, no, it's not on YouTube.
You know, I like to subscribe to YouTube channels and support people, which you should do as well.
You should. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for looking at our faces, but hit the subscribe button if you didn't already.
And if you don't like Big League Chew, then fuck you.
I agree. I love Big League Chew. Give me a pouch of Big League Chew.
Not Big Red. Not Big Red.
Fuck Big Red. Big Red's the worst.
Well, I was like, if you're gonna get the line completely wrong.
No, I purposely said Big League Chew.
I gotta make sure.
I know.
But
because
anyway.
Fuck Big Red. Anyway,
cinnamon gum's too much.
Yeah, I agree.
I just need
once in a blue moon. It's
no.
actually kind of.
I really got to be in the mood for some.
Cinnamon. I haven't thought about this until like this moment. That like I don't really
choose cinnamon gum. Yeah.
Just Orbit, like spearmint or peppermint, and like that's it for me.
I'm a spearmint guy.
Wintermint and spearmint.
That's a good one too. Yeah. Any of the mints, but aside from that, I can't do like was it Hubba Bubba or Bubble Tape, whatever.
I love that shit too. Give me like old fashioned bubblegum flavor stuff. I love it.
I don't like it. I don't know.
Give me a roll of bubble tape.
Anyway, this is where we debate best bubblegums.
This is yet another wacky deli.
This is our Mr. Perfect episode.
I was just about to say, I did say, I used to chew gum in the ring, so funny little anecdote.
Does it help with
wrestling. So there you go. We're back on track now.
Or does it help with like breathing at all? Like, right?
That's why I did it. It would help me. It would basically keep my mouth from drying out. Like I wouldn't get cotton mouth as bad when I was able to chew gum. So I would chew gum in the ring.
That makes sense.
There was a couple times where I would swallow it or just spit it out right on the mat, and the referee would have to pick it up with his fingers and throw it out of the ring.
Did you ever have, again, I haven't even done intros yet, but I need to ask you this while it's fresh. Did you ever do like any spots where you just spit the gum up in the air or something like that?
No, and I wish I did, but like I didn't. To make it look like you lost a tooth or something, that would have been cool.
Right.
But
like the Mr. Perfect thing, just slap the gum into the.
Oh yeah, that too. But like I'm thinking like as a sell, like because me being the comedy heel that I was, which at times I was, not all the time, but definitely at times I was definitely the comedy heel, and definitely would have been fun to come up with a spot like that. Maybe take a slap to the face and just kind of, like oof, spit it out as I sell my head up and something. But never really came up.
Never say never. There's still a chance.
With all that,
and just perked.
With all that, let's introduce ourselves. I didn't forget this week to do intros. We were vibing.
Talking about gum.
Yeah. With a G.
The G. The G spot. Anyway.
Anyway, I'm Mike. And joining me as always, it's CJ. What's up?
What's up, everybody? It's CJ. Glad to be with you guys. We got a fun topic here today. We're gonna let some rage boil out. We're gonna talk about some people who, quite frankly, they're just the worst, because not us, obviously, but anybody else that's involved, they're just the worst. Speaking of the worst, let's move on to the next guy down the line.
Yes.
Mr. Skyler.
Hey, Tony. Look at me. Fire me, you fucking mark. Fire me. Fire me.
Should have told Bruce to do it, not Tony or Dennis.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Yep. No, we had to cut the commercial.
I thought he was going to say I'm the captain now for some reason.
Look at me.
No, but a good idea in the future.
Yep.
You're welcome.
I fire your captain now.
I fire your captain now.
So today,
I bend your captain over and humble him.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Sheiky baby.
I don't think we talked about that
Bucks.
last week, and I don't think that we did a show.
No, we didn't.
That happened, didn't we? So yeah, let's give a quick shout out to, honestly, the best part of Twitter that ever
I was
existed
gonna say-
ever.
I was gonna say, if nothing else, if you only know him from Twitter, that's still
That's all
hilarious
you
enough.
need to respect the legend that is Cheeky Baby. Rest in peace, Iron Cheek.
Recipes there, she.
Hell of a wrestler. Go back and watch some of that.
I hope you are.
Dude was
I
a
hope you're
legit
up
Olympic
there.
wrestler.
I hope you are up in the sky, taking God, breaking his back, bending him over, and humbling him.
How much you like? Iron Cheek is just waiting at the pearly gates for Hulk Hogan to show up.
Oh,
he's just standing there waiting.
It's like, I get here
when is
before
Jabroni Hogan getting here?
I get here before that jabroni.
He's just waiting for Hogan to show up so he can break his
St.
back and make
Peter,
him humble.
you piss off, St. Peter. I wait for Hogan. Jabroni.
Oh man.
Fuck off, Macho Man.
yeah. Get out the field. That was a terrible impression. Anyway.
Ooh, no.
It was just Nick doing the same impression.
Yeah. It's just the Nick foreign guy voice.
Yeah.
Which it's funny, like it's just a foreign guy. Like, well, where's the foreign guy from? Nobody knows. It's just a foreign guy accent that Nick.
It's usually Russia, but it could be anywhere.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. It definitely has an Eastern European feel to it, though.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Only once is a little bit of Eastern European. And
so this
3D photo of Brooke Shields.
This is episode 60. 9 away from the big one, but we're at episode 60.
We haven't forgotten about you, Dennis.
So yeah,
we should invite everybody on. We should throw an episode 69.
Oh, did we?
Yeah,
we're not.
No, I think we are, but
we are.
We can't talk about that yet. It's too soon.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway,
this is only episode 60. Don't get excited just yet.
Yeah. And what are we talking about for?
Excited about 69, dude.
And what are we talking about for episode 60?
So we really didn't know where to go with this. We're sort of recording last minute just to get an episode out. So I sort of decided like an hour and a half ago that I think it's time we discuss some folks on the internet that to be honest, and they stink. It's something like I definitely used to be. Thank you. But I mean, it's no secret. I'm talking about the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, and it's not all bad. And it's definitely it's stuff I definitely used to do, and I used to have like that mindset of how they seem to think. But I think it's just gotten like with many other things on the internet as well. I think it's just getting like so out of hand that it's enough that I feel like we need to talk about it. I also feel from my standpoint that my viewpoint on wrestling, like, as far as watching wrestling as a whole, has changed in the past like few years, just in, for whatever reason. But it's just exhausting. The IWC. Nobody can do anything right. They root for wrestling organizations like they're fucking sports teams. That's blown my mind since really I guess the start of AEW. Like I've never understood it. Like, I don't know. It's like they treat it's like I like the Yankees, so it's a bad example, but like as if WWE is like the evil Yankees. And like
grab my Red Sox mug again.
Right, exactly. Right. It's like right, that's what I mean. It's like a bad example, but it's like, the evil empire, like this and that. I don't know. I just never get it. And it's been going on, obviously, as long as the internet's been around. And I guess prior to that, whether you wanted like Dave Meltzer's newsletter from which dates back, prior to the internet, when it was like a legit, like
an actual dirt sheet.
Right. Hence where the term comes from, because it was a legit, like it was an actual like newspaper, like, printed.
Dave Meltzer has been doing this for so long. At one point, he had a fanny pack and soccer mom hair.
Yeah.
And that was the style at the time.
Right.
And now the dude's like 60 and jacked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And listen,
I don't get it.
I don't
either.
And I don't blame people like that, because like he's just whether it's fake or whether it's not, whether he's making up stuff or not, like I don't blame him. Like the guy's making a living talking about wrestling.
I know who to blame.
Oh, go.
It's the same person that you blame for everything wrestling related.
Obama?
No, that's everything else.
Oh, sorry.
You get one guess.
I don't know. Well, I don't even remember the question anymore. I'm just
Vince Russo.
oh, that's fair. Fuck Vince
Yeah.
Russo.
Yeah.
He may or may not be directly related to this topic.
Mhm.
But I blame him anyway.
I feel like it's like it used to be, and like it wasn't all wrong because like all this type of shit dates back, and it's not even about whether the crowds are booing the baby faces. This is crazy. It's just like, and it's not everybody. Like if you go on Twitter or any social media and you look something up, you're going to get an opinion on either side of something. Like it's just, there's so many people online, you can find a matching opinion to yours for whatever the fuck the reason. But
Go to
there's way
cage
too
side seats. You'll find something.
Exactly. There's way too many people today that have way too much of a following that influences people's opinions rather than people just having their own. I think a lot of that comes down to that, is people like don't want to have their own opinion because like, well, shit, the internet, I can't disagree with the internet or something. It's become this weird thing where like nobody's ever happy with anything that's on wrestling. And I'm not saying you have to love everything. And, but it's gotten to a point where like literally like no, like nobody can do anything good anymore. It's like it makes shit not enjoyable, the internet wrestling community, where no matter what happens, it's shit on. If like, and like they're always wanting like this one moment for somebody, and we've seen it so many times in the last just about year, whether it was with the Roman Reigns Tyler Reign, I'll say, whether it's oh, Drew McIntyre should have won here, or Sami Zayn should have won here, and Cody should have won here, or so on, and just like the list keeps going. Now you can say, oh well, LA Knight didn't win Money in the Bank, so this is bullshit. He's buried now. It's like, but that's not.
To be fair, other than the buried part, he should have won.
But like,
it's not, yeah, but it's not an end all.
I'm being that guy.
Well, a lot of people treat it like it is. Like Mike said, like it's just they treat it like a complete burial, and it's not the case. If anything, right, that match definitely showed how over he is, and now I believe the plan is for him to get a U.S. title shot and I think win at SummerSlam against Austin Theory.
Right.
Now, my thing is that after Money in the Bank, they showed a clip of him taking out Hit Row. Not that that's really a high bar to clear.
That was before SmackDown at the Garden, by the way.
Right. Oh, that was beforehand.
It was like before the show, but I usually only because
either way,
I heard you say Money in the Bank. I just wanted it like this happened like the week after.
Yeah, but okay, I meant after Money in the Bank, but the reaction for him was deafening.
Yeah.
So it's like he's going to be okay, folks. They wouldn't have him take out a tag team by himself if they were just going to bury him because he didn't win the briefcase. Mm-hmm. And I get it because there could potentially be a story to tell with Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
Yes.
Or at least I'm trying to be optimistic because obviously I'm a huge Finn Balor fan, and Punishment Martinez has grown on me.
No, well, I've always liked him.
Here's a fun fact about Punishment Martinez. Now that we're talking about that, because since you brought up his name, his actual name.
His name on his birth certificate.
Yeah, Punishment Martinez. Yeah, Punishment, last name Martinez. The first time I saw Andy wrestle before I started training, at the old Monster Factory before they split and they changed names to OTW, and then Monster Factory was its own brand, and the two owners switched, and obviously I went to go train at OTW where Andy was, but before they had the brand split, so to speak.
They have a draft.
Yeah. Basically like half the roster went with Factory and
CJ, were you Mr. Irrelevant?
OTW. So I came after all of that. So pretty much, yeah, I might as well have been.
You were worse than that.
Yeah, exactly. I was undrafted.
So
I was an undrafted free agent. But before the brand split, I went to go see Andy wrestle at the old Monster Factory, and that is where, and if you guys didn't know that, Punishment Martinez, whatever you want to call him. Damian Priest, yeah. That's where he trained, and I actually saw him on that show where I saw Andy, and he was, he's a tall dude. he had like a very kind of like Undertaker kind of gimmick. He came out with like a robe and moved very stoically and threw choke slams and big boots and worked like the Undertaker and stuff. So after the show, I asked Andy, I was like, yo, who's that Spanish Undertaker guy? And he goes, oh yeah, that's it's Punisher. And he was just going by Punisher at that point, I think. He's like, oh yeah, that's Punisher. And I'm like, oh yeah, he was pretty cool. And like I remember, years later I saw him in ROH. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. I saw that dude like before I started wrestling. I saw that dude at indie show in New Jersey. Here he is in ROH. Then he goes to WWE. And he trained with the guy. So me and him talk about that all the time because like I didn't get to. By the time I got there, he was gone. But
somebody needs to give Andy a call.
Yeah, we could talk to Andy about Damien for sure. But I would ask Andy because I would ask Andy about it. I'd be like, oh man, so like,
on the podcast.
how's it feel like, having a guy that you trained with, kind of you get to see him on TV and stuff like that. Obviously he was there a while before Andy got there anyway. He was already kind of like on his way moving up into the indie world. But it's just one of those things that's just, I don't know, small world little moment. There's no real point to the story. I just wanted to bring it up that I got to go see
like
him
stories
before I started training. That's really all it was. But yeah, just, good for him. I'm glad that he's doing so well right now. And he's got the briefcase. And like you guys just mentioned, I think that will kind of hopefully, if they book it right, create some interesting storylines between Judgment Day. So something to look forward to.
Which then the IWC will shit on no matter what it is.
Of course.
So I feel like obviously like this stuff dates back, to the birth of the internet, more or less. But
if I may play devil's advocate for a moment.
I didn't get that.
Shut up, Siri. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, I don't happen to claim to be some big city fancy lawyer, nor does being a lawyer have anything to do with this.
Are you a chicken?
What I think might be some people's issue, the IWC's issue, is that the product sucked for a very long time.
Facts.
Not enough people either had access to or just didn't bother with TNA Impact. Plus that for a while sucked.
Right.
And it's like, okay, people discovered New Japan. We got AEW. Ring of Honor got a little shine before its untimely demise. Don't try to tell me it's still around. It's just their NXT.
What is that airing somewhere?
So ROH
Honor
has
Club.
its own, if they have their own like streaming thing.
So it's just all on the internet.
Yeah. Now think about that for a second. Ring of Honor has its own streaming thing. What the fuck, Tony?
Don't get me started on this because it's been bugging me for like a couple of years now that they refuse to give anyone. I've said on here multiple times. I'm like,
isn't there's supposed to be a deal with Now coming?
I hope
they have that AEW All Access thing on there, so like it kind of like made me think like, all right, maybe something's coming.
I have a feeling that Wembley show All In is going to stream because like they're not going to have a back-to-back pay-per-views 2 straight weeks and expect people to pay $50 for each show.
Right.
Yeah, that would be outrageous.
So I have a feeling like the All In might stream on Max, and like maybe in a month or so we'll get like some kind of announcement about this. Again, I don't know shit. I'm just guessing.
I hope WB Warner Brothers gave them enough money. They blew a lot of it on their video game.
Well, go check out that. After this. Yeah. But
we did a
short version. It's growing on me.
Okay. No.
We'll talk about that another time.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not paying full price for it. Not happening.
No. Don't pay full price. Don't pay full price, but it is growing on me.
No, I'm definitely waiting until that's like in the $20 area.
Yes.
Yeah, I think 40 is fair.
No, $20.
No. Well, make it 10. PS Plus, baby.
Yeah, free game of the month.
Everyone thought there was a rumor that was going to be on Game Pass when it came out, and that would have
loved it.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done.
Best deal in gaming, Game Pass. But like all this shit, like the IWC stuff, like it obviously like goes back. Like the first pay-per-view I ever watched, Survivor Series '96. Like it wasn't until years later when I went back and watched. Like as a kid, I had no clue that like Shawn Michaels was getting booed out of the building at Madison Square Garden at that pay-per-view. That like it seems crazy now to think, hey, people in 1996 were tired of Shawn Michaels and they were like
Survivor
ready for him to
Series
lose the title.
96 was Michaels and not
Psycho
Sid.
Sid.
It was Sid. Okay. And Sid won the title?
Sid won the title because he
Right.
hit Jose Lothario, and well, he gave him
Right,
a heart attack with that camera.
The heart attack. Right. We talked about this a week or two ago.
Or
a week or 6 ago.
Right. But just to like as an example of like, I'm not saying that's like, oh, LOL, like IWC stuff. I feel like it really kicked in with John Cena in like the mid like the late 2000s and then like early 2010s where like Super Cena. And it's
LOL
sort of
Cena wins.
I will say
Right.
I think some of the seeds were also planted with the Triple H Reign of Terror.
I think it's I can agree with that because I do.
I think
like,
bent up frustration with the booking for that period.
Well, because okay, you know what? You bring up a good point. I think maybe like I'll say there's always like an internet darling wrestler, and you actually bring this up a great point. I think for a while it was for sure Rob Van Dam in that early like
for a period until he got called pot.
Right. Well, he was.
If Cena wins, we riot.
Right. Like he won the title in 06, but this was 02 when Triple H was champion. RVD got the title shot, and everybody wanted him to go over. Yeah. And like I think from that
time,
right, from that's when everyone was like, well, Triple H just buries people and this and that. And like that's the theme of the IWC people is they can't, it's like they don't, and I think, and like I kind of go back just to kind of like that's how long this shit's been going on. But I think now it's to the point where like if shit doesn't, it's like they don't know what they want. I think like if WWE does something and then stops it in 2 weeks, they go, well, where's the long-term storytelling? And meanwhile, we have this fucking like you should give Emmys to everybody in the bloodline for the last 3 years of work.
Yeah.
And yet, and like you can't get
even
more.
Solo.
You can't get more like long-term and like all the twists and turns that the storyline's taken. And for over we're almost 3 years into this whole thing since like Roman won the title and like the bloodline stuff started. We're like, oh, we're near 3 years into this, and then like it's still awesome. Like the Money in the Bank match was awesome.
The fact
and
that
you can't have more long-term storytelling or better long-term storytelling than this, and people are like, we'll just get to it already.
I don't understand all the well, again, since we're talking, this is exactly what we're talking about. All the complaints about the bloodline storyline anyway, like any complaint about the bloodline storyline, like none of it makes any sense. Like to complain about this, like this
people still have
2016
Roman Reigns on their mind. And listen, we were right there.
That is not the same guy, man.
We were, but like I'll admit,
he's in God mode, son.
Yes, we were right there at Mania 32, booing his ass out of the building when he's holding up the belt.
That's a fact. Oh, I was pissed about it. I remember I punched a wall about it.
Yes. So
we knew it was going to happen, and I punched the wall about it.
We knew it was going to happen months before.
I was also can we mention that I was about what $10 beers deep at that point? I think
a lot. Yes,
I was very, very drunk.
Yes,
very, very drunk.
Skyler made a shocked face. No, I can confirm.
Like,
no,
Mike, you could definitely
not the
vouch
amount of
for
beers,
this.
how much each beer cost, which for that isn't surprising now that I think about it.
It was at AT&T it's AT&T, right? Dallas, yeah, AT&T Stadium.
Yes.
I will say
every single match, until they stopped serving alcohol, I was going to the beer tent behind where we were sitting, and I would come back with 2 beers, and I would drink both beers, and about halfway through the match, Mike, again, you can definitely confirm this.
Can confirm.
Yeah. Halfway through the match, I would leave to go get another 2 beers. I was drinking 4 beers a match.
It was very easy because we were in like the last row of that like section, so it was
basically it was easy to just walk down and
right. It was
and there was a stand like literally right in the stairway behind us. So I would literally just walk out, see there's no line, go up, grab 2 beers, get back to my seat. So it was a very quick thing. I wasn't like I was going to the snack bar to stand for 10 minutes.
Right. No, I think if that was the case, you'd probably got fed up after a few of those beers.
Right.
Well, I would have missed half the show and been pissed.
That too.
So.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I was drinking about 4 beers a match.
Yeah. But but listen, we're in the building. We're booing Roman. Like this is peak. Like the Romans being forced. But I think people get caught up in that. They're like, "What the fuck is Roman Reigns?" And I'm like, because you motherfuckers still think this is, 2016 or whatever year. It was really bad with it. Like, I can't remember what year he beat Taker, if it was before or after. Like, I can't remember at this point. But like,
see, part of that was just that match was also fucking god awful.
Right, but like,
Yeah,
but it's beside the point. It could have been.
But you had
an
an Undertaker who couldn't really work anymore. Like, again, that's not Roman's fault.
Right. No, it's not.
No, Taker should have already been done by then.
But I just think it's to the point, because it's mostly stuff in the last, like, since AEW formed, I think, is when the IWC has just become insufferable. Is basically, and I'm proclaiming this podcast as an anti IWC podcast, because you guys don't know
2 weeks later they were canceled.
And I think part of the problem, I'm going to go ahead and say it, part of the problem is that they got the Daniel Bryan stuff at WrestleMania 30, and they got the Kofi Kingston stuff at whatever Mania that was, 36 maybe, I can't remember the year or the number, 36, 35, whatever. They got that. No, but like, but you obviously know what I'm talking about. But they got those two things, right? They got those two things, and now they feel like, well, if we just go chant enough, they're just going to change WrestleMania, and they're going to change.
It happened to Daniel Bryan twice.
True.
I don't think he was supposed to be added to the one with Edge and Roman.
This is true. He didn't win though, but he was still in it.
Yes.
He didn't win. But
no, he just got stacked on top of Edge and pinned.
Right. Exactly. But I think since they got they're like, right. Since they got that happen, and like that was a ton of fan influence. Like, you got to, like, you can give them that. But since that, now they're like, well, fuck it. We'll just see if we can keep getting what we want, and it's not happening. And they're like resentful for that, because especially, like, I went through the last year of guys that didn't get their quote unquote moment. The only one you can debate for me is Cody at Mania. As far as like if Sami Zayn wins in Montreal, he gets an awesome moment. And I was rooting for it, man. It would have been fucking cool. But the problem is, okay, you won the title, now what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think Cody's the only one where it's like, well, if Cody was champ now, he'd be fine. He like that the Brock stuff would have made a little bit more sense.
I think people were expecting something to happen with, because for the longest time, everyone's like, oh, Roman's working both nights of Mania. So I think that's where they assumed that the Sammy thing would have paid off. I think, and now this popped in my head, it's a lot of stuff where people will post like their own theories or their own like made up rumors on the internet. And then there's speculation, like, how many straight Royal Rumbles was CM Punk confirmed to come back?
Kenny Omega.
Right.
Kenny Omega was supposed to be at like 5 Royal Rumbles in a row.
Jay White this year, I think. And then
I think Jay White this year actually almost was a reality.
Right. No, I believe it. But then they get themselves so hyped up on their own made up rumors, and then they're pissed off at WWE when it doesn't happen. It's like, bro, nobody said this was going to happen. You made it up.
Yeah.
And or you were stupid enough to listen to Dave Meltzer.
I can't believe that they didn't tell us that Kenny Omega is going to be there this year, and he didn't show up. I am furious.
Right, because they get mad at like their own made up thoughts, and it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like at this point, like, bro, just
messed up mental gymnastics.
Like, just stop watching wrestling. Like, and it's like, listen, anytime you're talking about wrestling, it's a good thing. So it's like, I'm not knocking that, but like, when literally nothing good comes out of it, or you have, like I mentioned, how people just root for companies like they're a sports team, where like,
or everybody just cheats.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
I was actually gonna say that he would have been a good person to have on this.
I know. This might be something to revisit later on, because I do.
Yeah. We gotta get Chris Lupo's thoughts.
Chris Lupo will be on this podcast. I got to record in person with him though. I don't know how over Zoom.
He should be on episode 69.
Oh fuck yeah! We'll make
episode 69 is gonna be like,
it's gonna be good.
Guests.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be 90 minutes.
No, it's gonna be 69
minutes. 69 minutes and 69 seconds. If that's, I'm gonna purposely.
That's 70 minutes.
That's 70 minutes.
Shut up. Shut up. It doesn't. No, it's not. No, it's
He's
not.
gonna somehow manipulate Spotify and Apple and YouTube so that it
keeps going.
69.
Don't you dare do math in front of me. I
Don't
know what
you
I'm, I
yuck
know what I
his
mean.
yum.
I said what I said.
But man, dude, so like it's like I wish we had like I wish we could talk. I wish I could talk to like someone like John Cena and be like how. And I'm sure he said it, but it's
yeah,
like
I wish we could too, but
I know I
I
would
wish
no, but
I
like
wish we had that kind of pull.
I know I
when
wish,
we
but
just
like
talk to John Cena.
Yeah,
Let me just give John Cena a call to be on the show today.
let me call up John Cena and say, hey bud, the internet fans that fucking hated you. And it's funny, and I'll say this:
I hated Cena for a long time.
so did I. But
I don't know what they were hating on. They couldn't see anything.
Oh, God damn it!
That's true. Maybe
like-
that's why we hated him so much. We can't see
right.
what you're doing.
But like, I wonder.
When she asked, "When can I see you again?"
But it's funny how full circle Cena came, because even when he came out at Money in the Bank, like all like when everyone used to do the John Cena sucks stuff to the music, like that's gone away.
Oh no, they
No.
still do it, but
They still do it,
like,
but it's got the Kurt Angle effect to it.
No,
Yeah.
I know,
Thank
I know it's a
you.
good thing now, but like I feel like
I heard it
don't
for
know.
sure. And Money in the Bank, I definitely heard the John Cena.
Cena
I don't know. Maybe
I'm
gotta
telling
go
you,
back.
it
but
was
but
there.
now it's like kind of like out of
But it was like
respect in a weird
Right.
way.
It was
Kurt-
funny though
same with
because
Kurt
like
Angle.
everybody was also cheering at the same time, so it was
Right.
definitely like it definitely had much more of a Kurt Angle like you
That's
suck
true.
in the later part of his career kind of feel
That's
to
true.
it, where
Which
everyone
even
was
Kurt
kind of
Angle
like
was like,
everyone was just like,
Mhm.
oh, like we got to do the thing. Like he's here, we got to
That's
do
true.
the thing. We got to, it's that.
But it's-
it
but,
felt
like-
more like that.
but at
to
one
me.
point, yes, that those you
That
suck,
was legit heat,
John
though,
Cena
for a
sucks
while.
were full of vitriol and piss and
Can
vinegar.
we? I mean, I guess I don't know if it's really off topic, but everybody wanted Cena to turn heel in that era. I guess-
I'm a little. I will say, I am a little annoyed that we never got one John Cena heel run. We
I
should.
You know what? No,
we should have
I'm
got
more ups-
one heel run out of that guy.
Because
I'm more upset
It
with
would have been
something
fun.
else.
because you only briefly did in like 2003 when he was first doing his rap gimmick, and it was good.
Yeah, but I'm
Well, he
saying
was
like,
a
ever
heel,
since
technically.
he became the face of the company,
Yeah.
he never had a heel run. Ever since he started doing the hustle, loyalty, respect gimmick, that was it. It was a wrap for the heel.
Because
runs
you
after that.
you had those consecutive years where like Cena was just rightfully in the main event. Again, I can look back at this stuff now and be like, sure, it makes perfect sense. Like, of course, Cena would be in the main event for how like a lot of years. Like whether it
basically
was like
what Roman is doing right now.
right,
Mhm.
but
It's
because
all, it's all
Cena,
the same shit. It's all Hogan, it's Austin,
Yeah.
it's Rock, it's Roman. It's all the same stuff. You're
Right.
gonna
Well,
have your top
and
guy.
you know what? You can
and
even-
can't
you
I'm
can
beat
more,
it.
even-
there's something more annoying than John Cena not turning heel. And I'm gonna pull out my IWC persona for right now. But I was never promised that this would happen. But I am still very pissed that just once, we never got Peacemaker in the Royal Rumble.
yeah, it can still happen.
Hold on. Yeah, that's definitely still within the realm of possibility. But also, can we talk
Don't you
about
get my
like,
hopes up.
if
You're no better than Vince.
don't you say it.
You're no better than Meltzer. Anyway, continue.
If say, whatever, before it happened, like 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was, if you had to guess what you would see first, a John Cena heel turn or a John Stewart heel turn, which one would you have said? Because I gotta say, did not
don't
see the
know.
John Stewart heel turn coming. I know we've
I don't
talked about
know.
this a
John-
few times before, but
John Stewart in general right now is kind of like, you all right, dude?
I think John Stewart's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I think John Stewart actually, the funny thing about John Stewart now is like now that he's not on TV anymore, I feel like he's actually less biased than he was when he was on TV. I feel like now he's
I agree.
he's being more of like I'm gonna tell you how I feel about certain things, and it's gonna piss off some people on the left,
Oh.
and this is gonna piss off some people on the right, and I
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
care because it's how I feel
No.
about it.
I appreciate that.
Wait, somebody coming up with their own opinions, that's crazy.
It's nothing to do with that. In fact, God bless him for that. But I don't know. There's something about him
That's
makes me feel like
that's
are you
my
okay,
whole
man?
thing. That's my whole thing with the IWC. Nobody has original thoughts. One person posts on the internet and everybody fucking follows it. Nobody can watch wrestling and just like fucking watch it, man. Like I watch this shit like a TV show. Like, sure, you root for certain people, but like
You're
I don't
pissed
know.
off at the result. Good. That was the point.
Yeah,
Right, but like
that's
It's
also true.
elicited emotion.
Because now you want to watch next week's to see how your guy
You're
reacts.
just upset that this episode of Dynamite isn't your episode of Dynamite.
But and that's I mean, all right, we're jumping all over the place with this stuff.
I'm using Dynamite as an example.
No, I know, but like I keep like to come back to my whole like, you know, wrestling company as a sports team thing. In the IWC's eyes, AEW is perfect and WWE is shit. No matter, even though to me right now it's flip-flopped. Like AEW has good matches and no story, and WWE also has good matches and better stories. For me, like people seem to think, people get this weird conception that like, oh, WWE that, well, these matches, it's like, bro, like, so okay, like there's fucking great matches like every week on Raw. Like just because they're not, like if you put, you know, Seth Rollins and like fucking Dominic Mysterio, I don't know what the fuck they did this, you know, like last Raw or whatever, but like
they did a trio match.
Okay, right, but like,
which apparently was not supposed to be a trio match, and apparently there was a bit of an argument backstage after.
Right, but again, dirt sheet stuff. Who knows? They could have fucking played patty cake through the curtain, and someone's like, oh, that one was a little aggressive. I think they're gonna fight. But
did he just take a bong rip in gorilla position?
Yeah, right. But like, I don't know, man.
Oh, it's
like,
just Riddle.
Like,
okay.
Right, but okay, another one. So like Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle shit on WWE, but if it's in an AEW ring, it's fucking 85 stars. Or if it's in Japan, it's 100 stars. That's my problem with a lot of the internet
stuff. If it's in Tokyo Dome, 200.
Exactly. It's like, I'm tired of the star rating. People fucking live and die on that. People like, whoa, how come there's only this? It's like, just fucking watch it, dude. Like, I don't subject it. I'm just like, if I like what the fuck I'm watching, then I'm going to keep watching it. If I don't, like, wrestling is the only TV show that people constantly bitch about and never just stop watching. Like, if a TV show starts to suck, guess what? All right, I guess I'll watch, and then I don't watch it if it gets shitty. Walking Dead, perfect fucking example. That shit jumped the shark, and I just stopped watching after a certain point. Like,
I stopped watching it, and then
I was like 2 seasons into Negan, and I'm like, I'm done with it. Like, this is
you know who still watches that show religiously, and I think it's pretty crazy because every time he brings it up, I'm just like, I didn't think people still watched it.
I thought it was
John Hooten.
That's crazy, man.
I thought it was over.
Watches that show so did I. And then John's just like, oh, dude, new Walking Dead came out. I got to catch up on that. And I'm like, you still watch that shit?
I was out.
Yeah.
I
stopped, and then I heard about the murder porn with Negan in his introduction. I was just like, oh, I'm definitely not watching.
But like, it's like funny. Like, wrestling's the only show that gets so fucking heavily criticized, and everyone wants to know every detail of backstage stuff. And it's like, it's incredible that wrestling still has this, even years after they tore down the fourth wall or behind the curtain, whatever you want to call it. Like, they tore that shit apart and they said, listen, we're entertainment. This is what it is. We're not hiding it anymore. And people still like gotta fucking figure out what's going on backstage and this and that. And it's fucking crazy to me that people not that they put all their time into it, but they put all their energy into like that stuff and not like, well, hey, this happened, or what if this? It's like, it's one thing to discuss it, but it's like, oh, LA Knight didn't win the Money in the Bank. I guess I'll cancel Peacock now. That was my other favorite thing. Anytime,
but then they don't. That's the thing.
Right.
They talk about it, but then they don't.
Anytime,
keep watching.
I did it once.
Anytime there was a shit ending on a pay-per-view, everybody was going to threaten to cancel the network. It's like, no, the fuck you're not. It's $10 fucking dollars, and you can watch any wrestling from like ever. Like,
I did do it. I did do it once.
What got you?
Do you remember the Money in the Bank when basically the end was Mustafa Ali had his hand on the briefcase and Brock Lesnar fucking comes out? At the time, I was burnt out on him basically having the title all the time and never being around. And there's my IWC bitching.
But like, I can get that. But at the same time, I think having a champion that's not around all the time, they found the right formula with Roman. Yes. Because even Brock. So when there would be a title match, because like, if you're a UFC champion, well, any UFC fighter, you're not fighting every week. You're only fighting a couple times a year, five, six, like, I don't know, 5 times a year, maybe guys fight in the UFC. Depends on scheduling, depends on, whatever the circumstance. But like,
And
feel like
one of
5
those
times a year
fights
is a
is,
lot.
and
That's a
maybe
lot.
maybe
as I
3,
was
4,
saying,
you
and they
know,
I
still
would say
make like
3.
quadruple,
right?
like
But like,
the
but
highest
like,
I'd
paid
say like
WWE.
the most active of them would probably be like 3.
that's true. That's true. I know some guys like it depends. Some guys will take a fight on short notice or something, or depend,
Yeah,
you know, if
true.
they like
Substitutes and stuff happen too.
right, exactly. But like, all right, like, but like Conor McGregor only fights a couple times a year at best, and it's like I'm not saying there should be an issue with it, but it's almost like, oh shit, Conor McGregor's fighting. I gotta watch this. And I feel that more so with like, Brock, like, oh, Brock's on the show. All right, who's he facing? Oh, maybe who knows what's gonna happen, but the title's on the line. But when you see it,
The problem is that
It's
wrestling
called
fans
being
are
a
not
draw.
MMA fans.
right.
No,
No,
but
right.
it's all the same in every game, every sport, whatever. It's called being a draw. It's the same reason why like shitty teams in the NBA sell their best games when like LeBron's in town. Like that's when
true.
their best ticket sales are. It's not because people want to go see the fucking home teams, because they're going to see LeBron.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
true.
same shit with everything else.
Yep. No, and that's true. But and like right, and like I agree. Like they figured out like Roman's not off TV enough where it's like, oh, all right, we'll see you in 3 months. Like he'll be at the SmackDown Advance story. They'll do this at the pay-per-view, and it's fine. Like I didn't like, I don't know, man. It's just like people like bitch to bitch. It's like, what do you want? You want the title to change hands once a week like it did in the fucking late 90s? Like, I don't know,
In
man. It just
2000, it
doesn't.
felt like it changed every month for a
You
minute
want
there.
you want Kane to win so he doesn't set himself on fire just for Austin to win it back the next night? Come on.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the
It made
weird
sense for the time, but like
spots,
times
but
change, man. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, and people are weird with like their guys, and like it's also the fact that people don't understand that like how many, like there can only be, I guess, you know, out of the two main companies, you can only have 3 world champions. And anytime somebody is like, you know, does anything, they're like, that guy should be world champ. It's like, well, no, like not everyone. Like I think that's my other problem is like guys like Cesaro, where the IWC is like, well, why isn't Cesaro the champion? It's like, well, he's fucking great, but it's like he's not gonna be better than like who's there, and he's the fucking Ring of Honor champ now. Nobody gives a fuck.
I think like people, they see great spots or great matches and they get hooked on that, kind of like what you're saying, and they just like they roll with it. But like what people don't realize is that there's a lot more to being a legitimate superstar. You know, like apologies for using the WWE term here, but like
Yeah.
that's, you know, if you're going to be a top guy, a superstar in the business, so to speak,
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that, and it's not just your ring work. It's not just the cool spots you can do. It's not, it's promos, it's selling tickets, it's selling merch, it's going on like talk show circuits and talking about what you're doing for the company and charity work and everything else. Like there's a lot of work that comes with being a WWE or an AEW world champion, whatever world champion you're going to, like, for any legitimate company, New Japan, Ring of Honor, any of it. There's work that comes
Japan, in. They're definitely doing the circuit over there in Tokyo.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, New Japan runs on its own schedule, which obviously we've talked about before. It's a very unique schedule, the way they do things. But when you need a media draw like that, like for instance, just for an example, let's go with the Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes thing here, when we're talking about like recent times where people were like, the title should have switched. A lot of people wanted Sammy to win it, and of course, like we were all rooting for Sammy too, because like, you know, we're rooting for the underdog. Sammy's over. We would love to see it, because it would be a huge, obviously, tipping point for WWE in a certain way, because obviously like this whoever takes the title off Roman, it's going to be a huge talking point and a huge tipping point for the company, no matter who it is. But you know, of course, we wanted it to be Sammy, but like I mean, Jey Uso, I would love to see Jey Uso complete the storyline by winning it. But do I see Jey Uso being the WWE champion and being the face of the company? Not really.
Yeah.
And when talking about guys like Sammy versus Cody Rhodes, it's the same thing, where it's like, yeah, like everybody wanted to win Sammy in that moment. But if you have to ask somebody, who do you think is going to represent the company better as a world champion, Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn? It's Cody, like 100 times out of 100. The dude's a legitimate draw. He's a legitimate superstar, not just in the wrestling business, but just like people know who he
In
is
business,
because he's been on.
period.
Yeah, he's been on TV. He's been on. You know, he had that the Big Show or whatever it was called. You know, well, anyway. Sorry, I just.
That was smooth.
I mean, was he on that? It was like
Could
Bert
not-
Kreischer and Cody and like I didn't actually watch
Yeah.
it, but I saw the ads.
Wait,
enough.
was
No,
Brett,
Cody was one of the judges. Yeah,
Brett Kreischer was on that?
Yeah, Bert
Yeah.
Kreischer. Yeah.
The
was the host.
Machine?
yeah, he was
Yes.
the host of it. But Cody was
How
one
did
of
I
the
not know
judges.
this?
Because you probably didn't watch the show, but I saw the ads enough when I remember them promoting it.
Yeah, me too. I just remember seeing the commercials. I never actually watched the show at all,
Yeah.
but a lot of people did. So
Yeah.
people know who Cody Rhodes is. He basically started AEW with the Bucks and Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Comes back to WWE where he started and is a huge, massive star
Mhm.
there. That's the guy. Like if you're looking for your next guy, that's the guy. Like as much as we would love to
Yeah.
see Sammy win for the moment and we would all
Yeah.
appreciate it and love it, Cody's the guy.
Mhm.
And that's the difference between, you know, spiteful IWC people who are just like, but I wanted Sammy to win it because it would have been a good story. Like, yeah,
Well,
sure it would
here's-
have.
this
And
is
that would have
why-
lasted you how long exactly? Maybe a
Right.
month.
This
before
is
you
why
got
I
bored of
bring
it?
up. This is why I bring up Kofi Kingston. The moment was
Mhm.
awesome when he won at Mania. It was awesome. The build up was awesome. But then you have to go be the champion. I'm not saying that
That's the part.
I'm not saying that that certain guys aren't capable or they shouldn't be or whatever. Like I'm not trying to take shit away from nobody or say people don't deserve it, but there's there's a trend of you get this cool moment and then nobody gives a shit anymore because all right, well he's the champ, now what? He's
Yep.
just going to defend it.
Dean
randomly.
Ambrose.
Right?
Everybody hated that title run because they didn't have anything for him. They didn't plan anything for him. Like everybody was excited when he won, but then when
I was excited.
Yeah.
I was excited too. I was a huge Dean Ambrose fan. I'm
Right.
still a huge John Moxley fan.
Right. And his AEW title runs were fine. I think better than whatever he had when he was a champ in WWE for sure.
Yeah,
But-
that's for sure. Yeah,
But
they didn't give him
the-
anything in WWE.
right, but
Well,
right,
actually,
and there's your example. And then
Only one
everybody
of his
gets
title reigns really lasted a significant amount of time.
No,
no, but
they
still,
weren't long, but they also
Right.
you don't have to have a long title run for it to be a good title run or a memorable title run.
Yeah,
Right.
but the second one, two of them were literally within a month.
Yeah, well,
True.
but
But it's
just
right.
goes to
But
show
the
you
title
that
runs weren't great. And then
they didn't know what they were doing.
But then for someone like a Kofi Kingston, especially when you have, I think they didn't unify the belts yet, so you still had two world champs. Again, if I remember right, Kofi won it, and it was the middle of the show. And then I think all or most of his title defenses, if they were on those pay-per-views, were probably just buried somewhere in the middle. And obviously, if you have two world champions and both titles are going to be on the show, you're obviously not going to can't main event every single time in that sense. But if all of your title matches and all of your stuff as the champ are kind of buried in the middle of the shows, so it's I don't want to say a protection or anything like that, but
No, but
it's
you're not getting that main event spot. Either.
right. Whereas oh shit, if Roman Reigns is here, Brock Lesnar's here, John Cena's here, or whoever, those motherfuckers are going to go on last when they're the champ.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And then again, take the Sami Zayn stuff. Look what we got at Mania. Your opinion of the finish for Reigns and Rhodes side, but look at night one. Everyone was like, well, fuck, now Owens and Zayn are just going to be in this fucking tag title spot, and look what the fuck we got out of it.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you just fucking relax on your hot takes and you're firing off tweets on the internet and just let shit play out, you look what you get.
I mean, honestly, and I think we were all kind of on the same page with this. I was very excited for the Usos versus Zayn and Owens. I thought that was a great spot for them because, like I said, I don't see Sammy being the WWE title guy. I don't see him being the face of the company.
But you can also now say that he main evented WrestleMania.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and I do think that he deserved that spot. And it's hard to say that because it's weird because how do you say someone is deserving of a main event spot, especially for WrestleMania, your biggest show of the year, with all the work that he's done the past year, and obviously Sammy's work with the bloodline, that whole angle that was only supposed to be, I think, like a few week thing, but turned into this year-long thing because of just all the great work Sammy was doing with everybody else involved as well. That of course you want to feature that in your biggest show and your biggest main event of the year, but is anybody going to believe that Sami Zayn is going to be the next WWE champion at the end of WrestleMania? No. Do people believe Cody Rhodes could? We all did. I thought for sure they were making the switch that night. I would have bet the farm on it.
Yep.
But Sammy being in that tag team title spot, giving him a main event spot on night one in a very meaningful storyline spot where they worked on it for an entire year, which you don't see very often in WWE or wrestling in general anymore. I think that was a great spot for them, and I was super pumped to see them in not only that spot but to see the match. So again, IWC getting mad at the wrong thing here, and you're worried about who's getting the world title and gets to be the face of the company instead of worrying about where the shine is going. And that's really what's the important part, was where's the shine going?
Right. And again, like I said, there can literally only be, 1 or 2 world champions in one company.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't not everybody gets to be the champion, but there's so many spots, and there's so many spots on the card that you can have. Look at Roddy Piper. The guy never won, he didn't win
that's
titles.
A travesty.
No, but
that's a travesty.
But
that Roddy Piper was never a world champion. You want to talk about travesties? That's a travesty.
I can certainly agree with you in that sense, but a guy like that is still a draw, even though he's not the world champion and sadly never won a world title. But
Roddy Piper and Scott Hall are the two biggest,
right.
In my I get you want to talk about my
Kurt
IWC
Hennig.
Opinions. Kurt Hennig, fair too, but again, Kurt Hennig was never really booked to be that main event guy. Scott Hall, I think, had more of a chance, especially with his Razor gimmick back in the day. I feel like they really pushed Razor for a while, and I feel like he could have gotten the top of that card very easily. But I feel like Kurt Hennig, despite how great he was, how perfect he was, I should say. I just don't think that he was never really booked well enough to be put in that spot.
Right.
But that, again, that's just my opinion.
But it doesn't make them not a draw. It doesn't make them not good. It doesn't mean they can't have a prominent spot on all these shows. You still need your mid card. You still need your upper mid card, which is still a damn good place to be. I think that's what people get caught up on world titles, and they look at everything else as sucking. We had a long time where I remember hearing an interview years back where it's if you called Randy Orton, and this is probably late 2000s, early 2010s, if you called Randy Orton and said, hey, you're going to be the Intercontinental Champion, he'd go, what the fuck is this? What am I getting demoted for? Type shit. Because at the time it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They're building it up now with Gunther as the IC champ and even Austin Theory as a long running US champ. They're at least trying to build these things back up to the way it used to be. But people get caught up as oh, he's the IC champ. Oh, this is bullshit. It's well, it's not though.
No. When I was a kid, I wanted to win the Intercontinental Championship more than I wanted to win the World Championship.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of kids from our age and era that would have said that. But look at the, the lineage of the belt when we were growing up. I think just felt so much different than how it does now. But
Agreed.
They're trying to build that back up, like you said, to their credit. Yeah. And I think that all kind of started with The Miz, if we're being honest. Gunter's doing a great job with the title now, but I think what really kind of started that whole trend of hey, let's make this title relevant again was The Miz when he had it and went on talking smack, talking about how he was working his ass off for building that title and stuff like that.
Was that when we saw Zack Ryder win the ladder match and then Miz won it the next night? Was that the start of it kind of, or was it after that?
I think so.
I honestly can't remember.
I want to say yes.
So I remember being there. We're oh shit, they had Zack Ryder win this ladder match. Holy shit.
No, this was much later than that. I feel like
really
this was during the talking smack era of everything. I don't think was that really going on back then?
It might have been a year later. Because I think 2017 sounds about right for that.
This feels right around the end of Daniel Bryan's run.
Yeah,
right before Daniel Bryan came back.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Because no, you're
because
right.
he had the title, and then like he went on Talking Smack, and then he like I think this was during the same stretch. I don't think it was the same episode or the same interview, but I think it was like during the same stretch where he went on that whole tirade about Daniel Bryan and kind of got him to walk off set.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, he cut that fucking shoot promo, man. I mean, it's a fucking
2016, maybe 2016, maybe he did have the title then. Whatever, it's beside the point. But like, no, I agree.
The Miz was working at building that title up, and then now Gunther has it, and Gunther's. I don't know if they're gonna break Honky Tonk's record, but at this point, like you just had Roman break 1,000 days. Why not?
Yeah, right.
I think if Drew doesn't win it at SummerSlam, you'll see him break Honky Tonk's record.
Yeah,
the Honky Tonks mans. Speaking of legendary Intercontinental Championship reigns, it's Santino Marella trying to break the Honky Tonks mans. I am going to break the Honky Tonks mans record.
I don't even think he made it like so 2
good.
months either.
No, I don't think so. But like every week he'd show up on TV and have the honky meter.
Yeah, there was.
We will bring up the honky meter.
Yep.
Remember when he was just a fan?
Yep. Oh yeah, Milan, Italy.
And he beat Umanga.
Umanga. I never. I still to this day pronounce Umaga's name wrong. Thanks, William. I still say Umanga because of goddamn William Regal.
Yep. But I don't know if I know we were just rambling about the internet, which that's, as we sit here on a fucking wrestling podcast making fun of people on the internet.
Not us. We're talking about other people. We have good opinions.
It's not even about like our opinions. I just feel like I don't fucking look at all this as with this fucking like vitriol. Maybe people are just so fucking angry going into stuff, and when their shit doesn't happen, they just get even madder. And it's like,
unless I'm $10 beers deep, that's the only time I care that much.
Or if I'm like
$10 beers deep,
or when I'm like fucking 21 years old, I have nothing else going on. Where all I have is 12 hours a day to fucking fantasy book in my head, and then get pissed when my own ideas don't happen in real life.
You know what the angriest I think that we were back in those days when we were like going to like Buffalo Wild Wings and stuff like that for pay-per-views? I don't think we've ever been angrier at a card than we were the time where the cable just went out in the middle of the show and everyone just started chanting, "Press the button."
Oh yeah.
I think we were angry about that.
Yeah. and listen,
was that Battleground? And Mike was there.
I don't remember.
Mike was there.
I was.
Oh, you were there. You weren't at.
Yeah.
You weren't there for the press the button incident.
No, because I remember you guys telling me about it. But I remember. And listen, it's not to say that stuff.
That shit was hilarious.
It's not to say that stuff doesn't suck, but I'll never forget that random ass show where like Big Show just randomly came out and the whole crowd was like, "The fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like if that show didn't have that, the Shield,
did he turned heel.
Who knows, man? He could have turned like six times.
He probably turned 3 times that night.
5 minutes. Yep. I'm still waiting on that Captain Insano babyface run though.
Yeah,
or heel run, something.
Captain Insano heel run. Fuck.
You imagine? I didn't disappear. I'm just I got blurry, so I had to fix my shit. No, because if that show didn't have the Shield against the Rhodes, that show would have been miserable.
That was a match of the year contender. The rest of it was
the rest of the show was a throwaway. But at that time, like again, I'm not like it's not like I don't just blindly praise everything I see because I'm this optimist about wrestling. Like no, I still think not everything's great, but like
quick side note.
Yes.
That match we were talking about that ended with Cody pinning Roman. Continue.
No, they should bring that up.
Oh, I'm sure
they didn't.
Yeah, but
because they did a playlist of people who had pinned Roman, and that was the first one.
No kidding. I forgot. Like I remember the whole thing with like the Rhodes were in it because I remember that the whole story was cool with it with like you have Dusty and all that and going on at the time.
They really have been protecting Roman for a long time though, huh? Who was eating most of those pins in the Shield? Was it Seth and Dean? Like Roman wasn't getting pinned a lot in those days. Like, not that the Shield was getting pinned a lot in general.
You would get
Shield
pinned
was pretty
in the
dominant.
big spots. Like, I remember the Shield versus the Wyatts. He got pinned. Granted,
that's a big spot, though.
Granted, he survived getting his ass kicked by 3 guys for like 5 minutes, but still.
It's funny how, like...
Another great match, by the way.
And this is where the internet just flips on people.
Match of a decade.
Because Shield Roman, the internet fucking loved him. Like when the Shield was coming out and they were doing their heel
we
thing,
were
man.
huge Shield marks. Me and you
He
personally.
also
I
didn't
know.
talk.
That too. Because his promos were shit for a long time.
All he said was believe in the Shield, and
Yeah.
that was it. That was his only
Yeah.
part. Like Dean did most of the talking. Seth did a little bit of the talking, and then Roman would show up. Believe.
It's funny though. He's
Shield.
always had, no matter how much they boo him, he's always had like the he's always had the
that's
chant
over,
for that.
Yeah.
Like that's been over forever. But like it's funny the arc how like when the Shield broke up and now everyone was like, oh fuck, they're forcing Roman. That's fucking turn, because like, and it's like the improvements like incredible. Like it's truly amazing how we got from 2016 to not even now, just even 2020 Roman Reigns of like, you had this in you this whole time. Damn, dude.
The funny thing is we were talking earlier how everybody wanted John Cena to turn heel. It never happened. Meanwhile, at one point, everyone wanted Roman to turn heel.
It finally did.
He turned heel, and look what happened.
Yeah.
We got the one of a lifetime.
And we probably could have gotten something similar out of John Cena if they pulled the trigger on that too. But
what if, man? It's a big
would have been corporate Cena.
That's a big what if for sure. But I think when it comes to the Roman stuff, like everybody wanted it. But like I think like maybe even more so than Cena, I think people just wanted it because it was like we're booing him anyway. Let's make him a heel, because he was getting like, Cena's always been kind of 50-50. Sure, sometimes the boos are a lot louder than the cheers, but like he's always had his fans. Roman was just straight getting booed out of arenas, and people were just like, just turn him heel and let him get some heat, and at least it won't be as bad for the show, because it just looks terrible to have this guy cutting his babyface promo and like, WWE Universe, and meanwhile they're all booing the shit out of you. Like it just looks so bad. At least John Cena would still get cheers. I think that was the big difference between the two.
I went down like a Cena promo like wormhole like a couple nights ago, and like I forget how like Cena could not like bury dudes on the mic in his promos and stuff, but like whether it was like calling out The Rock for like writing shit on his arm, or like there was the one promo where like Roman just forgot what to say, and Cena sort of like fucking buried.
It's called promo. You're gonna have to get used to it,
right? But it's like I guess you forget over time, like just how even the shit, even when he's pandering and stuff, like the crowd, like fuck man, I didn't realize, but like you forget, just fuck, Cena is fucking great on the mic.
Cena's great on the mic. He's 100% the best mic guy that they've had during that era. There was a reason why, again, these are all things that are wildly important when it comes to being the face of a company, being a world champion, being the main event.
Right. Like who's going on fucking Good Morning America? John Cena or,
Great Khali.
Insert fucking random wrestler here,
Who's going on? Can we get Great Khali on Good Morning America just one time? Just one time.
The fucking segment will be done by the time he gets out there from backstage.
By the way, check out the shirt today.
Pro
wrestling is real, folks.
Mr. Anderson.
Yep, people are fake.
Anderson.
I see what you did there.
No, that's what it says on the back of the shirt. Pro wrestling is real. On the back it says people are fake, and it's got a picture of
because I said Mr. Anderson, and Skylar followed it up with a second Anderson.
Anderson. Anyway,
you can. I don't know, man. I guess one couple final things. I guess from a wrestler standpoint, what's the consensus of people on the internet? Like, if you have your opinions,
let me give you some opinions.
If you've heard opinions of others, like,
let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Fucking marks. We're all just a bunch of marks. Anyway,
I love
it. Speaking of marks, so I'll start with this. The internet, and it's funny because you always hear it in promos from the heels especially, but guys like MJF and stuff like that. But like, the IWC doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Or what
most of the time they just don't. Now, my whole thing is like, there's definitely pros and cons. Pros being situations like, kind of getting Daniel Bryan over at WrestleMania 30, and like we talked about that earlier, stuff like that, where it's just like we got these moments because of not only the internet but the live crowds.
Right.
But that being said, like when it's easy to say that when it's something so universal like that. Like who wasn't a fan of Daniel Bryan that year, especially right after, CM Punk leaves the company, and now all the indie marks are just like, well, no, who do we root for? Well, Daniel Bryan's still here. So so it's definitely got its pros, but it's definitely got its cons. And I think like one of the biggest things that I've been saying for years, maybe even before I became a wrestler, um, and it's funny because Daniel Bryan, had a whole angle on it with the whole fickle thing, fickle.
Yeah.
It's so
He's
true.
right.
But like the whole thing is that like you're not going to please everybody. First of all, you just need to understand that as a wrestler, as somebody involved in wrestling, you're never going to please everybody. But second of all, most of the people don't even know what they want because, as we talked about before, when it comes to title runs like Kofi and Dean Ambrose and stuff like that, once you get what you want, what happens then? Like all of a sudden now, and you can blame this on bad booking, you can say whatever, but like at the end of the day, like how many times have we seen the guy that everybody's rooting for get that title or get that big win, and then the pop just stops after that? Like I was full admission right here. I was really afraid that was going to happen to Sami Zayn after WrestleMania. I thought Sami Zayn was going to have this big moment at WrestleMania because he's had this big run for so long. And I thought as soon as they won the titles, the pops would just stop. Liv Morgan. What happened with Liv Morgan? Liv Morgan was super over. She wins the SmackDown Women's World title. What happens after that? The crowds just die on her.
Yep.
And then she takes some time off because she gets injured and she comes back and the pops are back.
Yeah.
But like, all right, now if she gets another world title run, are they just going to die out again? Because that's what happened on that first run. And again, blame bad booking all you want.
I kind of blame Ronda for that run.
I mean, I don't think she was booked very strong. Like, I think they kind of made her look as like a weak champion, and I think like that didn't help her case. But at the same time, especially as a face, like if you're going to be a weak champion, you have to be a heel because you have to be a chicken shit heel. But you can't be a weak babyface champion. It just doesn't work. You can't be the babyface champion that's afraid of Ronda Rousey. It's just not going to work.
They didn't make her afraid of Ronda Rousey.
No, not like, I'm not saying that they made her afraid, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like the match going in, even when she won the match, like it was almost like she was like you're facing this uphill battle the whole time and stuff like that. And I'm not saying you can't be an underdog champion, but I'm saying that once you win the belt, the character needs to change a little bit. You can't keep being the underdog as the champion. It doesn't work like that. And I feel like that's how she was booked.
They could have had something with how they showed. You know what? There's no need to dive into this.
But that's the thing. Like you're not. But like even if you're booked poorly, I feel like if someone's over, and again, and a lot of fans, again, if you want to put yourself in the smart mark category, whatever you want to call yourself, you can like if there's bad booking, like a lot, it is obvious sometimes. So in a case like this, the pops should, if someone's over, they're over. If you're over, it doesn't matter what the fuck happens to you sometimes, because it was such a short time period that it went from over winning the title to all right, the pops died. It wasn't like 6 months passed.
No,
and
that's
then
what I'm saying.
It was like overnight.
Yeah. And I was really afraid that was going to happen to Sami Zayn after this WrestleMania and this title win, but I've been pleasantly surprised and disproven so far. So,
and it still doesn't
good
mean
for him
that
because he deserves it.
Yeah, and it still doesn't mean that everyone's going to be like a fucking world champ tomorrow. It's just you're in a fucking awesome spot right now. You can put them in like a main event on a show, and if you want to put the tag titles up or whatever the deal is, like they can. Like there's like I think is that a misconception of like, well, you need the title if you're going to headline. It's like, well, no, it's been proven, especially in the last few years, that you don't need a world title match to main event a pay-per-view. It can be a tag title. It can be a random, just a great feud that has a blow-off match or something. Like, Seth and Cody main evented fucking like 3 straight pay-per-views with, there wasn't a world title match on the show. So,
I don't think that you need a title for it to be a main event match, and like not even like a tag title or a mid card title or anything. Like I think like a main event match kind of creates itself. You know what I mean? Like, it, there's arguments over the years where other matches could have or should have been main events. I know like CM Punk and Undertaker at 29, like there was a big argument that should have been the main event. Rock Austin at 19, like we talked about, even like that could have been a main event.
Ric Flair HBK.
Yeah. Like there's tons of instances where you can say that like if this was in the main event, would it bother you as a fan? No, I don't think so. I think that there are certain spots and certain matches that they just kind of build themselves up into those spots. And if a match has enough intrigue, enough story, enough going for it, where it is the draw of the show, then it should be treated as such. AEW, for instance, with FTR and what was that Forbidden Door match? Or not Forbidden Door, the Briscoes, the FTR and the Briscoes.
Yeah.
What
2
was
out of
that
3
pay-per-view?
falls or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Probably Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Ring of Honor last summer, right?
But...
The 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah. I just can't remember the name of the show.
I can't remember.
That match had no title on the line. But everybody knew it was the main event.
Tag titles, I think, but still.
Oh, was it tag titles? I didn't even think it was a tag title match. I thought it was just a grudge match.
No,
you're right. It was a tag title
match. Tag titles. Right. No, but to your point, the world title, the ROH world title, was the opener on the show when Claudio won.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that made sense. If you force that world title match last with really no story versus this ongoing feud to either open the show or be semi-main event, the show would have fucking died after that.
Yeah. No, for sure. Because that Briscoe FTR match was the main event as far as everybody was concerned. I think like that was my main reason for wanting to buy the card and watch the card.
Agreed.
And that was one of the ones where we all got together, I think, right? Didn't we get that we were at my house? Wasn't that the one where we recorded the air conditioner episode that never aired?
The lost episode,
the live watch along, And
then we got the casting couch picture of Anthony on the couch.
At least we got one good thing.
We got something out of it.
That picture still makes the round. That's my picture on our Discord.
Nice, as it should
Discord
be.
Chat, yeah.
But like, I don't know, man. I feel like we spent the last hour plus just ranting about it. Ultimately, I just, to your main point of the people on the internet I don't think they know what they want. I agree. It's not that, like, sure, would I have ways that I would want stuff? Sure. But at this point in my fandom, I'm just along for the ride. I don't
actually, there was one more thing I wanted to say coming from.
Go ahead.
From the perspective, like, of just how I've always kind of saw things. And you just kind of reminded me of it, because I think you were kind of going in the same direction here. But I've always felt like, why can't people just watch a show as a wrestling fan and enjoy it? Like, I feel like that's something that's just lost on the internet wrestling community as a whole. I feel like everything's being watched to be judged instead of just being watched to be enjoyed.
The voiceless have been giving a voice.
And but I promise you, and trust me, as a guy who's been critical of wrestling, as a guy who's just watched it to enjoy it, you will enjoy the product so much more if you just sit back and enjoy the ride. And I guarantee you'll be a lot less jaded of a wrestling fan if you can just learn to just be like, hey, this is a good match. All right, that match wasn't so great, but maybe the rest of the card was pretty good. Like, if you just watch wrestling as a fan instead of having to critique everything and just pay attention to the storylines and the matches, instead of paying attention to, well, this isn't who I wanted to see, or this isn't the result I wanted, I guarantee you'll enjoy the show a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, my other favorite thing, just to add one more point with WWE, is people that I can't stand people that go, well, in the first hour of SmackDown, there was 6 minutes and 31 seconds of wrestling. It's like, bro, like,
who cares?
Like, I don't.
They did a 40-minute segment with the Bloodline this week where Roman and Solo took them out through a table and everything else. Like, that took 40 minutes. 40 minutes of a 2-hour television show, correct?
Yes.
SmackDown's 2 hours.
Yep.
40 minutes of a 2-hour television show. it was fucking like you're telling me that you weren't entertained. You're telling me that
Right.
you
Are
like
you
you
not
needed to see more
entertained?
wrestling and more
Right.
matches. Like,
And to flip it, I mean, they don't. I mean, I know they don't have AEW Dark and those YouTube shows anymore, but like, I see the Ring of Honor. Like, I don't watch the Ring of Honor just because I don't have the streaming service. But like, I see the Ring of Honor like ads on like Instagram, or whatever, and they'll be like, "We have 13 matches on this Ring of Honor show," and I'm like, "Yeah,
that
I'm not.
sounds terrible.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching that, but thanks." Like,
Yeah, that sounds awful. It sounds like everything's going to be. It's probably going to be 15 fucking 5-minute matches and
yep,
then like a 10-minute match main event, and it sounds
yes,
awful.
yes.
Yes.
That's and like that's the contrary of, hey, here's your 90-minute, or I don't know, I don't know how long the shows are, if they're 90 minutes, 2 hours, like I don't know the deal, but like that, like that's why I've never understood there isn't enough rest. It's like, it's not the point, dude. They're building stories, they're building to matches that you want to see. Like that's the point.
Yep.
You have the TV show to give a tease of everything to get you to buy the pay-per-view or whatever. I know shit's changing now, whatever. I don't know what's more important anymore, but it's beside the point. Stop timing the fucking shows of wrestling. Well, there wasn't a hold here. It's like, bro, I fucking hate AEW shows that open with a match in the ring and 85 flips and Excalibur's out of breath running down what's on the show before it's 8:01.
Yep.
All
Like,
right, but next week, like, yeah, he really does. Like,
but it's like I know it's like at this point it's like they're committing to the bit at this point with that. But I'm like this doesn't seem like too much to everybody. This doesn't seem like they're cramming 4 hours worth of shit into a 2-hour show.
I feel like, and I'm kind of hoping that now with the addition of Collision and this potential semi-brand split that they keep talking about, I'm kind of hoping that it slows down the pace of the show a little bit.
No, the from what, like, the first Collision was my biggest compliment, was the pacing, was how it
sure.
felt like the show was slowed down. They let the segments breathe. They let that was also my biggest problem with Dynamite was, oh, 1-2 in the pin. Okay, we're gonna send it backstage for this interview. It's like, but I need to process what just happened.
Yeah.
Like maybe my fucking, but it's like, and then like the response would be like, well, you're just not quick, or you know what I mean? It'll be some snarky shit like that. It's like, no, I like what just happened in the ring before you cut to some completely random promo.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to get into like that. That can be for a separate thing. I think we'll talk about Collision and stuff in due time when they're really into it. But I don't know, man. It's just that's my feeling. I'm just watching to enjoy it. I'm not watching to shit on anything. I know I've had my harsh opinions of AEW, but it's like, it's not that I want them to do bad by any means. It's just,
No,
that was my feeling on it, and I hope it flips. But and again, WWE was fucking shit until, and it's like, it's not to say
for a
like,
long time too.
yeah, and like I can admit that as much as I like it now, it's been way better the last year than the prior 3 or 4.
Competition will do that.
It will. It will.
As we're getting rid of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, well, that's
temporarily.
Dude, I'll say it, man.
As much as we can.
Just fucking Truman show him. Just do it, man. It ain't. Just do it. I've said it before. I'll stick to it. Just let him think he's in charge and put him in a room somewhere and
Truman show.
Just let him go, man.
So, just like, all right, how are you gonna like tape a fake Raw with all of Vince's matches and ideas too?
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, man.
In real time, you just have 2 shows going on at once. You got to set up a fake studio with a fake audience.
Pay clocks. All right, we're gonna tape this show at like 4 p.m. But Vince thinks it's 8.
Yeah.
Oh man, fucking, I don't know, man. They can do enough CGI shit. They can just have an editor superimpose the fucking moves.
Just Chat GPT it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chat GPT Vince's version of the show.
Just ask Chat GPT to take out everybody's first name.
Yep.
All right.
God damn it, I hate first names.
So they get their last names. I see how it is.
Yeah, you don't get shit.
I got a first name. That's it.
You get only your first name.
You're lucky you have that.
Yep.
The next intro's
Scott. Scott wasn't a full-time wrestler.
I was listening to stand up driving to Buffalo last week.
Yeah. That's a great bit.
When you
Still
intro Skylar, it reminds me of like the one South. I can't remember the episode, but when they're introing like John Denver on South Park, they're like John Denver,
Denver. Yeah,
such an obscure South Park reference that I remember. I don't know.
it's a
why.
good one though. That's an old episode too. This like season 1 or 2.
I know.
I think.
Who
It's,
is
like,
Carmen's father? Is
Yeah.
it the
the 1995 Denver Broncos?
Turns out it was the Denver Broncos.
Just the whole team. I didn't get that joke when I was a kid, and it's so fucking funny now. Oh, the whole
Yeah.
team.
The whole team. The whole team. Oh,
Or at least their star left tackle.
Oh man.
God,
Slash his half dad
so
that
fucking
he
funny.
force fed to his half
Oh
brother.
my god.
Yep.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny.
It happened. We don't care if those episodes are banned.
Whatever, man.
Show me the tapes. Show me the
documents.
documents.
Oh man, let's sprinkle some crack on this one. Did we shit on the internet enough
Yeah.
today?
Yeah, I think we did.
As we're speaking of shitting on the internet, we're on the internet. You can follow us on Instagram at 6Man Tag Podcast. Are we on Threads? Did you make a Threads? I don't even know what I thought you made one for our podcast.
Fuck all that.
No,
Fuck that.
I don't.
Like,
I need the login for the Instagram.
oh yeah, well whatever.
talk
Maybe I can
afterwards.
always. I can
Fuck
always.
all that.
Maybe I'll do
Follow
it.
us on
I'll
the
do it, and
gram.
then I'll do it, and then I won't post on it as usual.
Sounds
can
about
put-
right.
Just
Yeah,
send
but you
me the
can-
info.
Send you the documents. But yeah,
Send me
we're on
the
Instagram, 6Man Tag Podcast. We're on Twitter at 6Man Tag. It's not the fucking word 6. Oh, speaking of committing to the bit,
He will shank you.
you bitch. When you look us up, you use numbers. You don't use letters in 6, God damn it. The number 6. If you spell it. I don't need to spell it out for you.
What'll
Yeah.
happen? Yeah.
I'll fucking
I'll butt
not
fuck you into
gonna-
oblivion.
He will bend you over and
I'm not gonna spell it out for you. It's not SAWFT. So
So
those guys were fucking over.
they were.
Biggest
were.
pop of the biggest one of the biggest pops at that Brooklyn show when they came out.
Yeah.
Take over. Good times. But yeah, this has been shitting on the internet. Hope you enjoyed it. Listen, it's not that you're wrong, but you're wrong.
You're
In
definitely wrong.
in conclusion,
In conclusion, you're wrong.
you're wrong. Oh man.
Wrong.
Yeah. Listen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all 6Man Tag Podcasts. Subscribe, follow, do your thing. Support us. I don't know. Give us the likes, the listens, whatever else. I don't know. We got some good stuff coming up, and like I said, the countdown is on to episode 69. We're back in the saddle again.
Mhm.
Anyway, sorry. I just started
Dang, I
thinking of
was like-
Aerosmith.
I know. I don't care.
Not Aerosmith.
I'm still mad they stole that song from Eminem.
And Run DMC.
Fucking A, man. Anyway, what do you fellers got going on?
Twitch
Oh.
at Strange AFC.
Mm,
I'm sticking with the AEW Fight Forever for
fight
now.
forever.
It's
Fight forever.
it's fun to fucking play. And much like the IWC, get past the bullshit
Mm,
and just enjoy it.
agreed. Yeah.
Then I'm
Yeah.
still playing
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 because that game was better than it had any right to be.
I'm playing Pizza Tower because I was high one night and I bought it and it's on Steam and it's great.
Oh man.
That sounds like me in Power Wash Simulator.
Oh my god.
No, it's like this
No,
crazy
yeah, okay,
platformer,
okay.
but it's hysterical.
Okay. CJ?
I know what it is.
Yeah. And you know what free DLC there is?
What?
A bunch of stuff in the Shinra building.
So you just power wash it in the Shinra building?
You're doing the weird 3-wheeled car, the motorcycle,
Nice.
a bunch of other shit too. Also, apparently, Laura Croft's mansion. That was a weird one. It's
Very nice.
it is very relaxing.
I played Lawnmower Simulator, so I get it.
Also, kind of relaxing. That's on Game Pass.
What about Goat Simulator?
My son is
that's a trip, man.
obsessed with both Goat Simulator games.
1 and 3. Don't get it confused.
Yes, 1 and 3.
There is no 2.
Wait, what?
That the joke is that they just skipped to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I approve.
Yeah. No, my son is obsessed with Goat Simulator.
Nice. You know, there's people out there that are just frantically searching for Goat Simulator 2. Just like, where is it? I can't find it.
Do I have to play
God
2
willing-
before I play 3?
God willing, we'll all meet again in Goat Simulator 2, the search for more money.
Yep. Speaking of which, that needs to be a thing. Spaceballs too.
We're getting
But
History
anyway.
of the World Part 2.
It's already out. I haven't watched
but I
it,
want
though.
Spaceballs.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Yeah, I know. It's like a 4-episode thing or
Yeah.
something.
I need to watch it. I just haven't.
Yeah, now that I know that it's already out.
No, it was a few months ago. So no, yeah. If you've been yearning for History of the World Part 2, it's out.
I'm just yearning for more Mel Brooks.
The children yearn for the minds.
Well, if you're yearning for some music,
Yes, please. plug.
CJ?
you should follow me on SoundCloud and Instagram and hopefully eventually Spotify. I'm going to get on there. But in the meantime, the Paperweight Project, the best way, just go to Linktree / the Paperweight Project. It's got all our links there to our music pages as well as the podcast, which is called the Paperweight Broadcast, which we haven't done anything recently. So I'm not going to tell you to go follow that right now, but just go follow whatever, follow it all. Actually, just follow everything, because guess what? It's coming back. There's going to be stuff coming out. There's going to be music being worked on soon. So follow us on there. There's 2 songs up there now. You can go check out. Actually, there's 3, because there's also, how could I forget? The collaboration project with this very podcast, 6-Man Tag Podcast, of a cover of the Cody Rhodes theme song, Kingdom, done by myself and Skylar Strange, as well as our friend John Hooten. So go check that out. Give me a like, give me a follow, subscribe.
Are you talking about John Hooten of Hooten and Hollerin'?
Of Hooten and Hollerin'.
Mm.
That's another podcast you should go check out. Check out Hooten and Hollerin'. I'm pretty sure they got an Instagram and Spotify and YouTube.
There's a link below to something I threw up there.
But also, yeah. So follow my stuff on YouTube and SoundCloud. Follow Hooten and Hollerin'. Follow the Paperweight Project. That's really it. I know it's a shitty plug, but I haven't really worked on anything. But I'm telling you, stuff's gonna come out. Actually, there's a cover that I did with John that I want to release. So that might be the next thing that's coming out soon. So if you like cover music, you can get excited for that. And so I'll let you know what it is or whatever. Whenever everything's ready, I'll probably announce it on here when things are going to start actually moving again. But yeah, that's really it. That's all.
There's also a link in the Apple and Spotify versions. The intro song I grabbed, I literally found it on a fucking TikTok video. You can follow this guy on TikTok at I am Bone Steel. It's just
Bone Steel is ready.
It's just an LA Knight. It's just an LA Knight remix edited into Yeah by Usher.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which I just kind of threw on here randomly. I did it on last week's pod too, so you can check that out as well.
I'm gonna go check that out on the Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it last night, and I was like, I'm gonna take this, but I'll at least credit the dude. I don't know if he did it or if he stole it. It's just where I found it. I don't know, man.
Fair enough.
It is what it is. That's all the butt plugs. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Come back next week for episode 61. We're marching along to episode 69. With no real plan in sight for episode 69. Just know that we're getting there, and it's coming.
We have to.
We're gonna do something.
We're hyping it up this episode. We finally actually kind of.
We are going to get every guest we have ever. We are going to get some of the guests that we have ever had.
That.
Don't promise.
We're going to get one of the guests.
We are going to get one, maybe two of the
All right,
guests.
I can guarantee at least 2 prior guests for that. I can confidently guarantee that will happen.
Okay.
Yeah. If
Again,
one of them doesn't bail.
And one, yeah, right. Okay.
this is true.
Yes.
It's not even, this isn't even.
It's
this
up to
isn't
those
even
two to
live.
figure out which one I'm talking about.
Oh gee. Oh no. I wonder.
Yeah.
Who's the real cunt?
Anyway, hey, I hope you enjoyed
swing
us.
some
I hope
crack.
you enjoyed us being on the internet, shitting about people on the internet.
Yeah.
But seriously,
Fuck those
yeah,
people's
fuck-
opinions.
fuck-
Listen to our opinions.
seriously,
Subscribe and
the-
listen.
But in conclusion, the hardcore judge every fucking second of wrestling show IWC people, just stop.
Stop it.
You
Just
stop.
Just stop.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Stop.
Don't.
Stop.
Don't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.